93 FM, Real Talk. Appreciate that always. Thank you for supporting us. And same for those of you watching on YouTube, on Warchant TV. We appreciate all that and all of you guys in the chat. Good day, sirs, madams. How goes it for everybody? It's the Super Bowl weekend. It is finally here. And what are you going to eat? What are you going to eat for the Super Bowl? That's the whole thing, man. Come on.
That's a great question. I tend to think of the Super Bowl as a pretty standard barbecue event.
No matter who. Yeah, I have friends that do it where they pick the food based on who's playing. So that's kind of fun. Well, right.
You could do that this one.
You could.
KC barbecue plus cheesesteaks.
Yeah. Oh, it wouldn't suck. Suck. The buddy who does that, who no matter what, he'll when in the regular season, he's a Bears fan. In the regular season, whoever the Bears are playing, he makes cuisine from that area to watch the games at his house. He's got it all set up, and he's got 4 or 5 televisions. And his wife's team, they'll pick a cuisine from that opponent as well, and they'll mix the two. Pretty smart way to do it. It makes everything kind of like a party, kind of fun. Like, oh, what do I get to what's unique about Indianapolis? I don't know. Look it up. What do they love in Indianapolis to eat? What do they love? And you can, most places, if they're famous for something.
Oh, grilled chicken. What do you know?
How boring. Great. But yeah, so that's a fun way to do it. Get after it that way. But I don't know. I rather enjoy it. I'm standard in the same way that you are. Sort of the, give me something I know I'm going to like. Barbecue, you can't go wrong if you do it right.
There was a place that I used for the Buccaneers Super Bowl where they had an excellent Super Bowl, which they can't say, of course, but they had an excellent big game Sunday boneless wing special. And I picked on those all day. I remember nervously eating those during the WM final round, just waiting for the kickoff of the game. And 4 different flavors. I think it was maybe 60 wings. So knew I would have it for the week, or at least the beginning half of the week.
Yeah.
So 15 of each flavor, whole bunch of celery, buddy. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Got to be happy with what you're eating when you don't care about either team. That's kind of the way it works. Danny, I'll answer your question right off the bat. We're laid back. It's Lucy. Feel free. Fire away, everybody. I'll answer questions today. We do have Lee Sterling and Paramount Sports coming on in a little bit to look at the props and all the goofy bets, including the anthem and all those good things. And my mother will chime in for the last time. This is the last of the football solely broadcast, right? As we start moving on and get into the other seasons and the like. Danny, my answer is I'm feeling better. I am still on the mend, but I am on the mend. So that is a good thing. It was always just a head cold. It's just annoying. Yeah, you can't have it. It's frustrating, especially when you talk for a living. That's the other problem, is that like any other job that I could have, maybe it wouldn't have been as big a deal, but when you can't breathe and you're trying to talk and entertain, it can be difficult. So there's that. Eric, I saw you already bought tickets to the show down in St. Pete. I will be there at the Mahaffey Theater. Good looking out. And he's also playing down in Miami as well as Atlanta. So lots of options there.
See, Trent in the chat was chiming in on a bad beat last night.
Buddy,
bad beat.
5-1.
Did you see
spanked that ass.
So the circumstances of it are you scored the 3rd goal to get the breath in the 3rd period.
Yeah. I was watching.
Empty netter ain't no thing. No problem.
You're like, I'm not worried about an empty netter. Don't worry about it. I got this.
So they got the empty netter.
Yep. A little 4-1 action at that point.
Under a minute to go.
Yeah.
Goalie's back in for Ottawa.
We've got this.
4th line is out there. 4th line is containing the puck, possessing the puck. Oh, we've got a possession inside the offensive zone.
Oh, you don't need to.
Shot from the point.
No, it's good.
Off of the blocker and
into
open rebound, and there you go. Okay.
That's a tough
beat.
That's what happens. That's why they call it gambling.
Absolutely. That's why it was only 29 units of confidence.
Was this not a 1-1 game early in the second?
I was.
Yes, I was
watching.
2-1
for the stretch run.
Yeah, it was over. I mean, we had this covered.
No, the best
goal was hitting.
The best goal you could get in that moment was 3-1. because it's going to limit the damage to 5. You can only get to 5 unless something really wacky happens.
Yeah.
Which actually happened on Tuesday as well. But still, this is 2 games in a row where they hit 6 on the total with unlikely scenarios down the stretch. Ouch.
That's all right. It's about the process, Tom. It's always been about the process.
Process was correct.
The process was there. You were on the right side of that wager, as they say in the business. You didn't win it.
Right.
You were on the right side of that wager.
And I was on the right side of Tuesday's bet, which was Ottawa team total under 2.5. And that one hit. This one hurt, though, because I was very much on the right side of it. What can you do, though? Move on.
By the way, I did see, just from an FSU standpoint, that we offered a kid that is 6'5" and flies at wide receiver. Jaden Dunbar, Thomas County Central.
That's correct. Yes.
I don't get excited about offers to kids in recruiting down the road and haven't even been ranked yet. But I will say, you pique my interest if you give me a 6'5" guy that can really go.
Well, they got some players up there.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, and Florida State would do well to spend more time in Thomasville.
Let's go. Maybe that time is being spent.
See if the new staff does. Swing
by Tabell, get you a beer while you're recruiting. Keep that on the down low, everybody, if you're a coach. Right. But
is that a stout I smell on your breath, Mike? Well, you're a stout player, aren't you, young man?
Well played. Well played.
And to, look at that program a little bit. So, yeah.
Well, we've got to give kudos where kudos are due at the outset of the program here. How about that? Jared Verse is your NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. And there was never a doubt. And if you watch that highlight footage of Jared Verse on this season, you realize he was almost more prolific than even the numbers say. He's just wreaking havoc, even on plays where he doesn't register a statistic, maybe a pressure. But, I watched this well put together video of the season he had. And, it's a combination of the all 22s and everything else. And you just see, buddy, he's only going to get stronger. He's going to be, at some point, you learn on the job there. Now you come in with all these physical tools and you blow people away with speed and strength, but he's still a relatively, in terms of the amount of years perfecting your craft. Remember, he was not always a defensive end. And secondly, when he got to Tallahassee, he admitted in the interview that he did with me, I really didn't know all of the ways to use my hands. It was really a flower in the lapel of Coach Papuchis, because he was the first to call him out by name and say, I've learned a lot already just listening to him and learning technique and stuff. So that's a few years ago. Now imagine he continues to improve on that skill set, learn how offensive lines are trying to block him and take him away. He was that disruptive in year one, and he's got a long way to go. He's going to be a force of nature.
Don't need to tell him to do anything, that he needs to do this or needs to do that, because he's fine on his own. But, they had a left tackle who was badass for a long time in Whitworth, who now works in the TV industry.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the guy to pick his brain, because he was as locked down as anybody has been. And that's an organization where, again, you can lean on Aaron Donald if you're Braden Fisk. You can lean on Whitworth if you're Jared Verse. But right now, they're both off to awesome starts. And it was great to see that Braden did get a little bit of a highlight reel shown as they were reading off the nominees. And Verse did a great job to shout out Fisk.
He did.
Accepted the award.
Yeah.
Am I getting old for wanting to see who won the Walter Payton Man of the Year award? Is that a sign that I'm getting older, that actually matters to me?
You care about people who are good people doing good things.
It was awesome. I hope Mike Evans one of these days will win it, because he's been nominated for about 10 years in a row.
It's an honor to be nominated. That's one of those awards where if you're in the company of those that, that may defeat you, it's still an honor, because you're being recognized for all the good you're doing in the community.
The video that they had ahead of Eric Armstead accepting the award, this year's Walter Payton Man of the Year, was good. I mean, it was what you would expect. He's doing incredible work for youth in whatever city he plays in, Jacksonville, also with the 49ers. over 500,000 kids he's helped impact to
That's
help
huge.
raise literacy rates. Because in Sacramento, they're at 37%. You can see I'm paying very close attention to this particular award. I like the good news.
I do
maybe
too.
it's because there's so much bad news. I'm
Sure.
gravitating more to the good news stuff.
Yeah, it keeps your sanity in place. I don't know if anybody else happened to notice. I had a keen interest. Seemed like it was going to be a no-brainer, but, you just want to make sure because I kept checking the app. Seems Jaden Daniels won Rookie of the Year, Tom. I was waiting on it.
Has it
Come on.
cashed?
It cashed.
All right.
Took a little longer. I was like, hey, man, the votes are in. What do we let's put the money in. Let's put the money in. Your boy over here.
That's a very 21st century around this decade sound effect is you tapping on the phone to say, where's my bet? Where's my money?
Where's my money? I'm not calling a bookie right now. I don't have to meet at the bar later for the under-the-table cash grab that he owes me. This is a legal bet made before the season. Real odds, real app. Pay. At various points during the course of this year, I worried a couple of times about the prospects of a Brock Bowers surpassing Jaden Daniels. Brock Bowers had an incredible season. Nobody knew about it because he's stuck out there in Vegas and nobody's paying attention because they suck, which makes it all the more crazy that he had a good year because they didn't have anything else. Everybody knew he was getting the ball, but he didn't. He wasn't, a lot of second-place votes for Brock Bowers, as it should be. There was a stretch where Jaden had that rib injury and had a couple quiet games, and Bo Nix went off, and I was like, don't you start this nonsense.
Don't you do it.
No, Bo, you don't do it.
Did you see? Did you watch it when they did the Coach of the Year?
I did not,
Okay.
no.
All right. So apparently, I don't know why, but I had it on.
You were locked into the NFL awards, yeah.
Look, man, if there's something going on there, I apologize in advance.
Here we go. This is reserved for me normally.
I think Sean Payton's date was on a lot of different
Medications?
substances. She stood up when the Coach of the Year was named. It was O'Connell from the Vikings, and they flashed quickly to Payton, who was angry clapping. They were showing the other nominees.
Yeah.
And the person that was with him, eyes all over the place. Like Winona Ryder when she was on the stage accepting that award.
Yeah.
It was a 1 second clip.
I went, the right kind of date for him.
Ooh, I don't know.
The right kind of date for him. Anyhow, I paid close attention just to make sure. It was pretty much besides Sam Morrison, and I think he's the only guy that didn't vote, Jaden Daniels, first place for Rookie of the Year. Brock Bowers was an overwhelming pick for second. Bo Nix was right there with him as well. Those two kind of were intertwined. You know what I was surprised by? I knew that Bucky Irving would get some votes, and he did. He got a ton of fifth-place votes, and that's fine. I thought the two guys, third or fourth, however you wanted to do it, I paid attention because he was in Jacksonville. I happened to get him late in my fantasy draft. Nobody cares about fantasy draft, but he was on my team, so I knew his numbers. And in an impossible situation, Brian Thomas Jr. lit it up over there.
Yeah, he did.
He kicked ass. I mean, and they were a mess on offense, but they've got a burgeoning star in the form of Brian Thomas Jr. And the irony is that he and Malik Neighbors both got a lot of votes there, and both were really good. So if you think about this, Florida State vanquished that LSU team. And look what we're talking about. The quarterback, the receivers. Like, think about.
Oh, and the defensive end and the defensive tackle who both finished top 5 in the defensive rookie category.
I mean, that team was loaded.
Yeah, when their offense was on the field against our defense, man.
A lot of NFL football players going head-to-head in that game.
It's not like Renardo sucks. It's not like Jerryon Jones isn't good.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how many guys were NFL players when Florida State and LSU matched up. Not just NFL players. These are NFL players that are extremely well thought of and having an immediate impact in the league. But, yeah, that stood out to me last night when I was looking at Malik Neighbors and I was looking at Brian Thomas Jr. and Jaden Daniels. Damn. And then over here, we've got, obviously, Jared Verse. You're looking at Braden Fisk. God, dog, there were NFL guys all over the map.
Well, with the first 3 names you mentioned, there's one retort. Brian Kelly?
Right. And
Brian Kelly?
Yeah, what are we doing over here, Brian?
Come on now.
I would also point out Brian Kelly has made a mess of the situation. that it's so completely avoidable.
Somebody else die on his hands?
Well, close.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
This is a sad story. It's not Brian Kelly's fault at all. This guy has a brain tumor, but what's happened in the fallout since is not good, Tom. And it's so easy to get it right. I have no choice. If you didn't already think that Brian Kelly might be a really bad guy, this affirms that. I mean, this seems to be a affirmative. Not a good guy. I'll tell you what that situation is. I mean, we've got to go to break, so I don't want to bust it out now. I might as well do it right now when we get back. But I mean, you haven't seen this lately?
So that'll be before Lee. So we'll do that real quick.
Yeah, we'll do that real quick, and then Lee Sterling will join us from Paramount Sports, and we'll get into prop bets. It's a crazy story. It's sad. It pisses me off, too. And it's like you could look at it very seriously, and we can have the conversation. It's just a real-life tragedy, and the guy gets brain cancer. But the other part of it is that this is, if we were just doing the PR firm, you'd be like, well, this is the easiest thing in the world. How are you screwing this up? What is wrong with you? Like, you'll see. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Hey, everybody, this is Shannon Young with Cross Country Mortgage. Been in the industry now for 22 years. I just made the move over to the nation's largest retail lender, Cross Country Mortgage, here to serve you in 7 states, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and the state of Texas. Here to offer better service, better rates, and if you were thinking about buying or if you've been on the fence and been waiting to call me, now is the time. You can still find me at loansforknowles.com. That is, again, loansforknowles.com. I've helped thousands of fellow Knowles get into their dream home, and I can't wait to help you get into yours. Give me a call today. I'm at 954-369-6171, or go to loansforknowles.com. Again, that's 954-369-6171, and that's loansforknowles.com.
Equal housing NMLS 373031.
Hey, everybody, it's Ed Dean along with Roger Henderson, also with FloridaDaily.com. Just want to remind you, daily 4 to 6 in the afternoons right here in Tallahassee on Real Talk 93.3 FM. Roger, it is literally the 2 fastest hours anywhere in afternoon talk radio.
And if you think the country's going crazy, we'll help you make sense of it all.
Oh, yeah, we'll try to make some sense of it. Again, Monday through Friday in the afternoons, Ed Dean, Roger Henderson on 93.3.
Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those dark leaks. Call 850-766-134. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark. T-Spark Construction.com.
CCC 1331204.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Yeah, so I'll just update you on this. It's a sad story one way or the other. But since some of you hadn't heard about it, here you go. There was a player, a defensive back at LSU. His name is Greg Brooks. In fact, he wasn't just a player. He's a team captain in 2023. And he started to have ongoing horrible migraines and ended up, I'll fast forward, he got diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer known as medulloblastoma. And he had surgery in September of 23 to remove that tumor. It hasn't exactly gone well. He's had multiple strokes. He's permanently disabled. He's filed a lawsuit against LSU for the way it was handled. So this has gotten to be quite messy. I never know what to believe in that. You know, I don't know. So I'm not passing judgment on any of that. Obviously, it's horrible either way. And he's in occupational therapy to try to learn how to talk, relearn, I should say, how to talk, how to eat, how to write, how to move. And there was a follow-up, an interview that was done on Good Morning America. He was on. His father and he were both on. They were asked questions. And he claimed, did Brooks's father, that the family has not heard from Coach Kelly at all, that they have not heard from Brian Kelly in the LSU program for over a year. And he said, quote, "My son almost lost his life. Coach, where were you? Where have you been? Forget about football. Pick up the phone and just tell the kid you love him. Just tell him you're rooting for him." He said that he hasn't received any of that and that there hasn't been any communication. Well, that was a couple days ago. So when I first read that, I went, I don't know what to believe there. I just hate it for that kid, just like anybody else would reading that story. That's all I thought. Well, Brian Kelly took issue with it, and he responded and said, simply not true. He said that's not the case at all, and I have been in touch. If I wasn't in touch, one of my staff members has been all along the way. And so this is just simply not true. Well, after he gave a press conference, he took it that seriously. And I tell you this, that's the way you would do it if, in fact, those accusations were made against you.
Yeah.
And they weren't true.
Yeah,
you would hold a press conference for that.
It rises to that level where it's necessary.
It 100% does. So I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. Now we got a he said, and that's an ugly situation involving a tragic situation. And again, I don't know who's telling the truth, but I'm looking at that. Yeah, a day after that, the lawyers for the Brooks family came out and said, well, this is comical. He knows he's lying, and we can prove it. And then just went off and listed all of the things that he's lying about, and that Brian Kelly is flat out has not been in contact at all. And they pointed to his statements at the dais and said, notice he left this, and this out because he knows he can't claim that. And I mean, they were very public in their frustration with this, with LSU, that program, how this has been handled, and Brian Kelly very specifically. And again, I guess I should be cautious and say I don't know. Both sides are obviously arguing on their own behalf, but this seems pretty easy, man. I mean, either you were or you were not in contact. Either you went and checked on the guy or you did not.
Yeah, and you got a phone record to that end. If you really have to prove it,
I mean,
which is annoying.
It would suck, but I mean, you would prove that if you were being slandered in that way. That's a hell of a thing for somebody to say, that you weren't there for one of your players who nearly died from this rare form of cancer and is now incapable of walking, and he was once your team captain. I mean, this seems so easy. I'm inclined to believe that Brian Kelly's lying. That's what I'm inclined to believe. It's a hell of a thing to make up as a father of the kid, to me.
It's also a hell of a thing to double down and call a press conference and say, you're full of crap. What did you think they were going to do? Just allow your bluff to stand?
It's sad.
Was that his strategy?
It seems awfully odd to have the lawyers then come back and go, no, man, you're lying and you know you're lying. And here's the proof that you're lying. And if you want to keep on with it, we can. It was, but, this goes all the way back to Notre Dame with the issues there and the kid that died there and out there filming in the wind and the whole deal. It's like, after a while, it's the smoke where there's smoke, there's fire type stuff where you're like, well, you're really, really unlucky. Or maybe you're just an a-hole. Maybe you're just not a good guy. And I'm leaning towards the latter, and I don't care anything about either Notre Dame or LSU. I'm not a fan of either. I prefer LSU over Notre Dame. But, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not a loyalty football thing at all. This is about trying to assess who you are, Brian, and having a hard time believing you. Perhaps what you say is true. Perhaps. I'm having a hard time buying your side of this.
Also, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Jaden Daniels. What the hell, dude?
Well, in his defense, he can say, look, we did light it up offensively. Like we did that year. He won the Heisman. I mean, they did light it up.
I would retort with, did you?
But they can move the ball.
They got 24 on Florida State, and then Alabama you scored 24 on as well. Or they didn't get past 27 in either of those two games. If you have transcendent NFL-type players, you kind of should dominate everybody. Maybe you should have a Joe Burrow-like season. I mean, he had Jamar Chase, and he was Joe Burrow. He did set records. Yeah. You couldn't tease those.
Well, hey, you know who agrees with you? LSU fans.
Yeah.
Who have to endure what they feel are subpar seasons, and now their guys getting dragged through the mud again, and probably for good reason. And folks are like, hey, man, what are we doing out here? You make us look bad. Program looks bad. Losing games we shouldn't lose. Turns out we were loaded for bear.
Fire him. Fire him. Fire him.
Oh, that may be. I mean, don't want that story. Hey, listen, every program, we know this as Florida State fans, goes through things in the press that you'd rather not. You get bad publicity. Something happens. Something that's unfortunate, mistakes made in the administration, kid does something he shouldn't have done, coach says something he shouldn't have said. Everybody understands that comes with it. High-profile deal. We all get it. But this is, again, are you just even a decent person? This is so avoidable. Somebody on your team gets a life-threatening illness. We should not be debating whether or not you have visited, because the retort would be, I've been there every day, or 3 times a week, or once a week, 4 times a month. Somebody from me or my staff is over there checking on that young man, as one would as a decent human being.
Yeah, you would do that with a fan who has these issues. And I'm not trying to denigrate the idea of fandom or fanhood. I'm just saying,
yeah, it's not the same as being part of the team.
You hear that story all the time.
Of course,
about a coach reaching out, FaceTiming, calling fans who are going through real struggles. This is a captain. So if you're going to do it for a fan, how about a guy who puts a C on the chest? I mean, Jesus.
Come on, Brian. It's not hard. This would be tough if you came to us at the PR firm. I'd be like, hey, man, what are we talking about over here, Brian? Did you go see the kid or not? If you went and saw the kid, let's not kid ourselves. There are pictures. If you went and saw the kid, there are photos of you seeing the kid. Come on now. We know how this works. It might be a nice gesture, but most people in schools want it documented. Not just for legal reasons, but because it looks good. It's a PR boon. You're there helping the kid. You're there hugging the kid, wishing him well. That may not be why you did it, but schools take advantage of those situations. They film it. They take the pictures. See our guys doing good things. This is how the real world works. Where are the pictures, Brian? Where's a video of you visiting your guy fresh out the hospital?
Yeah. Or, where's the effusive thanks from the parent of the kid who says, I'm glad he was there. Why would he make that up?
By the way, heavy rains will wear down shingles and other elements of a roof. High winds and rainfall after a storm's wake, can involve lost shingles, moisture, underlayment, all this kind of water damage, penetrating, those kinds of things. You don't want it. You don't want it. Good to have T-Spark back on air with us and let you know that, look, there are ways that you can prevent all of this damage, and ways that kind of inspection can save you a ton of money. And they do that. They absolutely do that. They do a lot of other things, commercial tenant build-outs as well, help you with the tree falls, the wind damage, shingles, all those stuff and things that you associate with your roof. Make sure you go and see my friend at T-Spark Enterprises. Of course, always license number CGC 1525336, CCC 1331204, T-Spark Enterprises. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3. I'm just throwing out numbers.
You want Lee Sterling?
Go to the news, come back with Lee Sterling.
Right.
There we go. Go to the news and come back with Lee Sterling. Do it in a timely fashion, Tommy. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3. I can't talk today. Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
A Tallahassee man was found guilty of attempted murder this week for shooting his ex-girlfriend during an argument in August 2023. Quentin Martin was accused of shooting his ex-girlfriend as she sat in her car outside an apartment on Gibbs Drive. The two had recently broken up after a nearly 20-year relationship. Martin was found guilty as charged Wednesday after a 2-day trial and 4 hours of jury deliberation. Martin is scheduled to be sentenced on February 12th. A Tallahassee man died Wednesday night after being involved in a crash while on his motorcycle on US 319 in Crawfordville. A sedan driven by a 17-year-old was traveling south on US 319, and a motorcycle driven by the Tallahassee man was traveling north. The sedan initiated a left turn onto Rainbow Drive when it traveled into the immediate path of the approaching motorcycle. The motorcyclist could not avoid hitting the car, ejecting the rider into the roadway. The motorcyclist was transported to Tallahassee Memorial, where he was pronounced deceased. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 78. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 56 with fog in spots tonight. Cloudy skies expected. High of 76 tomorrow. Mainly clear skies with fog in spots early. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 71 degrees.
At Epps Decorating Center, we're your locally owned Benjamin Moore retailer. We're your store for quality with brilliant and durable paints in a variety of sheens and thousands of colors. We're your store for service with one-on-one advice for contractors and homeowners. We're your local experts, and we're here to help with all your painting projects. Benjamin Moore, available at Epps Decorating Center with 2 locations in Tallahassee. Find a store near you and visit EppsDecorating.com. That's EppsDecorating.com.
There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And, I've
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
But I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Libations Friday, loosey-goosey Super Bowl weekend means we got to bring in the man, Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. We do it every year, 20-plus years. We're doing props on the Super Bowl. It's always fun. Lee, how the hell are you, brother?
I'm great. I wish the football season continued. We're on a 9-1 run in the playoffs. So 16-6 in the bowls. Never had a run like this. Had some good ones. I think we went 8-2 2 or 3 years before that. But it's been a great run. So I wish football would have continued. I don't think I'm going to do the UFL this year. I've been doing these, spring leagues. There's just zero interest at all.
Lee, I have said this before, and I didn't know you were doing the UFL. Good for you. God bless you.
Well, I won for like 3 years in a row, and last year I think I went 10-12 or 10-13, and it was painful for me to watch the games.
I can't stand watching the games, and we've been around a long time. We go all the way back to the USFL and everything else, but every league that's ever tried to run up against the NFL in the off season, I just think we're all seasonable people. And like when football's over, you move on to baseball and basketball. You move on to other things. And I just don't think people have an appetite for it. And then if the football's bad, you're just not going to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they want to make the regular season, the NFL 18 games, public would love it. But the UFL, USFL, the whatever they used to call it. I mean,
they've had all those American League. Yeah, they've had all these different ones.
And very few of these guys are making it. Very few. There's a few. The kicker for Dallas, I think.
Oh, yeah. Every now and then you run across a guy that got overlooked or rebounded from an injury and, showcased his skill.
In March and April, I'm watching basketball on TV, and then, a week from now we got college baseball. You and I are college baseball guys. So it's not going to happen this year for the first time ever.
All right. So we do love this though. And we always dive in here and I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this, but I can tell you off the top here, and then we'll go with all of your picks that, I realize that underdogs are 13-4 against the spread in the last 17 Super Bowls. I know that these are two defensive-minded teams, so I'm skewing towards the under. I may tease it up and combine it with something like a Jalen Hurts prop and tease it up to 54.5 and take the under or something like that. But those are your standard, traditional sort of every gambler has an idea about what they're going to do for a Super Bowl. Let's get into the bevy of things where you think there's value and some of the goofy things. Like, what do you got for me this time around that we always do?
Well, we always do the national anthem.
Yep,
obviously.
And that's because your daughter is one of the best singers of the national anthem in the world.
Thank you.
Quite literally. Yep. And she's guessing the time of other great singers, and she's usually spot on.
Right. Now, last year, she had won 9 straight. Last year, she predicted the under, and it did go over, remember?
That's right.
Only because Reba McEntire repeated the last line. So most books paid out both sides. So for all intents and purposes, we're going to call her 9-0-1.
You can't be repeating lines out here. That doesn't count. What are we doing? No.
I think she was 76 or 77 when she sang. It was not great at all. It was mediocre at best. So this year they have, and I had never heard of him. Are you familiar with John Baptiste?
No, never heard of him.
Never heard him. So he's supposedly, as per my daughter, a musical genius, plays many musical instruments besides singing. Wasn't born in New Orleans, but is now a
kind of New Orleans guy.
He's a New Orleans guy. Right. So he has sang the national anthem. He has done it before where he's played a guitar before and during it, the piano before and during it, and he's done just the piano or the guitar. She said, if you can find where he sings it only, that's the disclaimer. We don't want it. Don't just play the time. You can find it singing only from start to finish. She feels it'll probably be in the 154, 155 range. So play the under if you can find it singing only. And I think they're going to try to close all the loopholes. They don't want to make sure he doesn't start off playing singing and then takes a 25, 30 second instrumental.
We can't. No. You can never get a bet off that way, Lee. What are we doing? Yeah.
So singing only from start to finish. She likes the under 2 minutes and 4 seconds.
All right, we're going under there. Yep. Next up, what do we got?
All right, so I think it starts and ends with Saquon Barkley. So he's incredible. Deserves the MVP. And if you're following along in my thinking, I think Steve Spagnuolo is going to try to take away Philly's biggest threat, and that's Barkley.
Yep.
I still think he'll end up with 80 to maybe 100 yards. Last running back had more than 116 yards, Super Bowl.
Mm-mm.
Come on, Jeff. Michael Pittman, the Bucks.
Wow.
2003,
Wow.
124 yards versus
Well,
the Raiders.
that game was a blowout, Lee, and we beat
Yep.
the bejesus out of the Raiders and did anything we wanted. So I don't know.
How many years did Michael Pittman even play for the Bucks?
Just a few. He was, before that, Arizona. You remember all that? Yeah.
So crazy stat there. I'm going to go with the under. I think Steve Spagnuolo is going to come up with a good enough game plan to. I don't think he's going to rip off a 40, 50-yard game. And for that reason, then you look to receivers for Philadelphia. A lot of people like Dallas Goedert, over 52.5 receiving yards. I don't. I think that the guy is Devonta Smith, over 50.5 receiving yards. In the 3 games against Steve Spagnuolo defenses, he's caught 7 for 122, 7 for 106 for 99. So over 50.5 receiving yards. And also, the longest reception for him is 20.5 yards. Let's go with over 20.5 yards. A lot of his receptions are down the field.
Nicely done. Okay.
Other side, Kansas City. Most first downs, Kansas City, plus 105. They slowly matriculate down the field on these 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1s. No team more successful. And under 8.5 players to catch a pass for Kansas City. Minus 150. They've kind of shortened their receiving core. Noah Gray used to be a part of it. They used to use their backup tight ends more. Now, since Juju Smith-Schuster came back the last 4 or 5 games, it's really 3 receiver set with Travis Kelce. So under 8.5 players to catch a ball. And if you want to go with something that involves both teams, probably the best wager of them all is shortest touchdown, under 1.5 yards. So
so something like a tush push or something?
Yeah, tush push for Philly. Remember, any interference, the ball gets put at the 1-yard line. And then Kansas City, we know that Andy Reid likes to stick that dagger into the other team and do what they do and just do it differently and give it to them. And I can see Travis Kelce come across the formation. He's done it many times before. And he gets under center and takes a snap and goes in for a 1-yard touchdown run. So, or he also gets a lot of these, inside shovel passes inside 5-yard line. So shortest touchdown under 1.5 yards, minus 175. And for the MVP, I'm going to take a shot this year. And if this wins, get my logic, I could be in Bora Bora. I think that there's a fatigue for Kansas City.
Sure.
And Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
All 3 times they won it, they gave it to Patrick Mahomes. He's not throwing usually for 280 or 320 yards anymore. He won it all 3 times. They won the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce, he catches balls. He's only going to probably be playing a couple more years. We've never had a tight end before. Travis Kelce catches balls for 75 to 100 yards, has a touchdown reception and or a touchdown rush. I think Travis Kelce might be the guy. Plus 1,600. If that hits, Jeff, we normally do a segment Wednesday before March Madness.
Yeah.
If you notice there's a little static on the line, I might be in more for.
You're going to take a flyer on Travis Kelce. Well, why not, Lee? Yeah. Nobody covers him ever. No. It's insane.
Unless he's doing a 2 or 3 yard and go in or out. He's wide open.
Brother, you and I have played and watched football for a very, very long time. Yeah. I've never seen a guy who is recognized as a superstar, a clear go-to component of the offense, go game in and game out and be as prolific with the whole world knowing he's getting the ball as Travis Kelce. It's dumb. I'm like, at some point, if I were a defensive coordinator, I know it doesn't make a lot of sense because you'll get beat by somebody else. I'd have 3 dudes on him. You're not catching a damn thing today. We're not doing this. I'm going to bracket you. I'm going to have you follow. I'm not doing it.
The problem is you got to almost play zone. You got to bracket the guy. There's not one guy that's that big and that strong and that fast.
Yeah.
And that's why tight ends are they're right now in the golden age. So
who's
the guy from Florida State who plays for the Chargers?
Right now? Oh, Derwin James.
Derwin James. He's probably
he could.
The best guy to guard a tight end, and even he has trouble.
Well, yeah, I don't think, first of all,
Derwin James is what, about 6'2", maybe
6'2", 6'3".
Okay.
Yeah, he's a hybrid freak.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
he really is. And I think you're right. I think he's probably, athletically speaking, the best that could do it because he's got some weight to him,
Right.
and he can run, and he can obviously run with him.
Right.
But yeah, even he struggles because Kelsey's a lot bigger than him.
Right.
You don't see linebackers that can cover him, and he's too big for safeties.
Yeah.
So, you're right. This is the golden age for tight ends. I don't think we ever envisioned a time way back when we were in high school that 6'5", 255, running 4.5 was going to exist.
Right. I had two guys in my high school, two guys that were 6'3" to 6'4", like 210, 215, which was a monster.
Yeah, back then, that's a big man.
Then, I mean, we actually threw to the tight end a lot, but it was kind of a freak. Both actually played in college.
Yeah,
so,
I would imagine. Yeah, I never saw tight ends that looked
but
like
after they graduated, I'll never forget this. They were my junior year. They were seniors. My senior year, I had two sophomore tight ends that were 5'11",
180.
180, 175 to 185, and slow.
Lee, enjoy the Super Bowl, brother. I always appreciate it. Be good, man.
Yeah, if anyone wants to check us out, go to the website. We got big UFC card coming
that's
this
right.
weekend. Pay-per-view, 5 for 55, a rare 50-unit max wager there. Also basketball, 4-0 night last night. We've won 12 of the last 14 weeks in basketball, 497 through the Super Bowl. Check out all the specials, ParamountSports.com, and we'll reconvene Wednesday for March Madness.
Love it. Be good, Lee. Good to talk to you as always, buddy.
See you, Jeff. Take care.
Right. Paramount Sports, that's my man, Lee Sterling, joins us, has for many, many years, and we have fun with these props. Taking a flyer on perhaps Travis Kelce winning the MVP. I'd be happy for him, meaning Lee, if it happened, but I'd be miserable otherwise because that means Kansas City's going to win the Super Bowl, and we just can't have it, guys. Can't have it. No, let's go Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Join Boys Town by providing direct care for youth in a safe and caring family-style living environment. As a family teacher, receive a $20,000 hiring bonus. Boys Town family teachers are a married couple that have the unique job of caring for children that are not their own by teaching, guiding, and preparing girls and boys for success in life. This is a live-in position. Join us in helping youth reach their full potential as a family teaching couple at Boys Town. Apply at boystown.org/careers.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas and put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas now. So get up some fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
No matter how busy life gets, your home is the place where your family and friends show you they care and celebrate with you. That's why the professionals at Barano Heating and Air Conditioning always make sure your home is comfortable. Just like those who matter to you most, Barano will always be there for you.
This is Tyler from Barano Heating and Air. Now you can schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. Any day, anytime, anywhere. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
I'm surely hoping that Florida State is able to make this happen. And again, wow, shocking. Hour one, here I am talking recruiting twice. I'll tell you, this one is a bit personal, though.
Mark the date, dude.
Yeah. Here's why. I was kind of frustrated, circumstances being what they were at the time, that we were going to miss out on Corbin Fordham, the tight end, who has verbally committed, I think, to Ohio State, or did. And anyhow, the reason that bothered me was that Tom, in 1992, as well as 93, 94, 95, there was his father as an offensive lineman here at Florida State, Todd Fordham, who was a stud. And I thought, well, you have a legacy. You have a guy who was on the great Florida State teams, that 93. Well, all those teams were great. I was in school at that time and watched him play. And I thought, well, there's no chance we're not. And he went on to play in the NFL. That there's no chance we're not going to get his kid. And then we didn't. And his kid's a tight end, not an offensive lineman. And the whispers are that, from what I've read, they're pushing hard to try to get him to flip, but he's one of these kids that's like, oh, I made a commitment. I committed to Ohio State.
So what, were they on him late? What?
Well, I think it was probably hard to get a commitment while we were losing every week.
Yeah.
That's
as long as they were trying the contact. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
We got to be watchdogs about this these days.
You do. But I suppose it had a lot to do with the fact that, he made that commitment in December. So, on the heels of
yeah.
I mean, Ohio State won the national title. They offered him.
I mean, guys,
we're 2-10.
I love the sound of the war chant and everything, but I won't hear it a lot there, except in pregame.
They recruited him really hard. They happened to win the national title, and we went 2-10. That's a recipe for disaster. And it was. But apparently, we're not done. We're trying our damnedest to get after them. And I know a couple people that know the Fordhams. Let's just put it that way. And I've had a lengthy I'm not doing any of the behind the scenes stuff that you've seen.
This isn't RCJC?
No, I'm not doing any of the Herculean work. I know some people that know some things.
Well, then here's the deal. Do you know what part of the state he's from?
He's from Georgia.
Oh, he's from Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, regardless, when our head coach...
Well, Todd was from Georgia. Yeah.
When our head coach goes down to the 407 this weekend, get some yeses from people who might be able to help
turn this thing around.
Hey,
get it turned around.
Orlando's a big Knoll market.
A huge Knoll market.
Huge Knoll market.
Keep it on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But he's an elite player.
Yes.
He wouldn't suck.
Which is why you need to do some work in the 407. I wonder if the head coach of an institution such as Florida State, or one that has a college campus in a capital city, ever walks over to a lobbyist's office and says to them, and especially in this day and age, how do you do it? What are some things that I could do to move my lobbying along? Because we need fans to pay through the nose, the ears, the mouth, and the eyeballs. How can I get them to do it and feel like they're winning? Let me know.
Well, there are methods. Many of them involve cash too, I'm sure. Not that they'd be able to say it. Shannon Young has made a move to be part of the nation's largest mortgage company, now with Cross Country Mortgage. That means better rates, better options, stronger support, and a faster response. My man is serving 7 states now: Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, and the Carolina. Loansfornoles.com. Shannon is tireless. He's an expert. 20 plus years of experience. I know him personally. I'm vouching. Good stuff. Loansforknowles.com.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Crescent, Tallahassee. Your Sports Flash update on Real Talk 93.3, brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun and Gold. More than you might expect with two great locations in Tallahassee.
Jacksonville Jaguars football, former Bears offensive coordinator Shane Waldron is joining the Jaguars coaching staff. He is likely going to become the pass game coordinator. Also, Jacksonville is adding John Van Dam to the coaching staff. He is going to be a pass game specialist. He most recently has been with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. One other note from the Jaguars, defensive lineman Eric Armstead. He has been named the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are promoting a couple coaches with some changes that have been made. Offensive line coach Kevin Carberry is now the run game coordinator. Assistant offensive line coach Brian Picucci is now the top offensive line coach. This Sports Flash is brought to you by Fulmar's Pawn, Gun, and Gold, more than you might expect with two great locations in Tallahassee. I'm Matt Pauley on Real Talk 93.3.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Games for Less, Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used games, as well as new and used consoles like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari 2600, PS4, and PS5. You name it. Locally owned and operated since 1994, trade-ins are not only welcome, but Games for Less pays more for your trade-ins than the big chain stores. That's not all. Games for Less now buys and sells new and used vinyl records to boot. George loves the Beatles, by the way. Reserve all the new releases today at Games for Less, conveniently located in the Walmart Supercenter Plaza on Appalachian Parkway.
Listen to what people are saying about ACL Home Inspections.
They took the time to explain every detail, providing clear insights and answering all of my questions.
I needed an inspection quickly. ACL scheduled me within 24 hours, and the inspector was able to arrive early. That was a huge bonus, and my 2 dogs absolutely adore him.
ACL Home Inspections will accompany you on a walkthrough inspection of the home you want to buy, then provide you with an easy-to-read digital report the same day. For homeowners planning to list their house on the market before putting it up for sale, ACL will provide you a pre-listing inspection.
As a very analytical person, I want to see all the details and ask questions. I interviewed 3 home inspection companies and was very impressed by ACL.
See for yourself what people are saying. Search ACL Home Inspections and find out more at aclhomeinspections.com or call 850-312-8919. 850-312-8919.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Florida's capital city. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
about the domination she had over her son this year in the head-to-head and who she likes in this Super Bowl. I have no idea who she's rooting for. My guess is going to be Philadelphia, although I'm not entirely certain. Because she, like a lot of other Bucs fans, are kind of not huge Philadelphia people. I've had to dive into the deep end this week.
Really? Yeah, this is a heel turn in the wrestling business. I do not understand. Uttering the words "fly, Eagles, fly."
Oh, buddy.
Without middle fingers extended just doesn't make sense. It's impossible. Can't be done.
It can be. I'm tired. I'm like everybody else. I'm just tired of the Chiefs. And it would be any team. If it's not your team, this is how it works. I mean, we know this. If the Bucs won 3 in a row, the country would tire of the Bucs, and we'd be like, "Suck it. Let's go for 4 straight," and we'd laugh. But I would get it. People get fatigued. Any team that wins like they're winning, we just saw it with New England, and before that, like, okay, I'm sure you're not a bad guy, and he's a great coach. I get it, but damn it, man, it gets so old.
The only thing that really bothered me about the Patriots was that their uniforms were some of the worst in football. That they had awesome uniforms. Those Navy ones were trash. Those are garbage with the weird stripes all over the place. The weird number font. That's the only thing that bothered me about them. There are some dynasties that I cannot stand. This is not one of them. I'm okay with them.
One thing that changes in the NFL, if you talk about dynasties, and listen, we've never had somebody win back-to-back Super Bowls. It's never been done. So to see it would be unique. There have been teams that had a chance that were on the precipice, including the aforementioned Patriots, but it's never happened. And that, I've always, as a sports fan, said I'm foreseeing things that are truly iconic or transcendent within the sports world. That could be a player, that could be, a record that's broken, whatever it might be. And I don't have to like the player. I don't have to like the team. I just can appreciate being alive for something like that, And that all stems from when I was young. My granddad, huge golf guy, was a scratch golfer nearly to the day he died, and got to see the rise of Arnie and Jack and guys like that. And then on the back end, the very beginning of Tiger. And even when he was very ill, said, wow, I mean, this kid looks like he's truly special. I remember how special Jack was. I remember how special and charismatic Arnie was. And this kid seems to have something maybe. And he knew he was dying. And he was like, maybe you'll get to see something truly special. That's cool. You should love that. And he would talk about players in his lifetime, quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, linebackers, you name it, whatever, coaches. And I've always held on to that. I mean, I've done it in every sport. If you see somebody, I remember watching Michael Jordan at North Carolina because I'm old. And then I saw him take the NBA by storm. And I remember thinking, oh, I thought it was cool enough that I got to see Magic and Bird. I mean, watch them take the NBA by storm, and being a little kid at that time thinking, this is incredible. Look at these two guys, played each other for the national title in college. And here they are immediately impacting their respective teams in the NBA in their rookie season. It's incredible. And you knew the league was about to take off and ride the wave of the newfound popularity because of those two. I didn't think I'd get to see a Michael Jordan come along and be all the more incredible. It was awesome.
The thing that I'm realizing as I watch more historical stuff and old sports is that, and even living through Michael's greatness, especially the second time.
Yeah,
after the retirement, the second three-peat I was more around for and more with it. It's always, or very, very often, I should say, with the slimmest of margins that dynasties are born.
Oh,
it is not often that it's overwhelming dominance.
Correct. You got to win. You got to get lucky. You got to have a lot of things happen.
It's the shot over Byron Russell. It's a vinatieri kick and then another vinatieri kick for the Patriots, and then withstanding a final drive where McNabb was puking all over himself.
Yeah.
The Patriots dynasty was built on last-second wins. It was built on a fumble ruling and the tuck rule. Like, it's these little moments. The Chiefs, the first time against the 49ers, Garoppolo misses an open dude down the middle of the field.
Wide open.
They're going to lose. They're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has failed last time they play the Chiefs.
He got failed by his team.
By the Eagles.
Yes.
Otherwise, he rose to the moment. That game came down to the wire. Last year's game was into overtime. I mean, the Buffalo comebacks, it's just 13 seconds. Well, most often, the great ones
Yeah.
That we think about decades later as, well, they were just the best. I mean, it came down to the smallest of margins.
They're on the right end of the closest of outcomes. Yes. How about Tiger Woods making a putt on a broken leg, gets to play the extra holes and wins? And of course, and even then it didn't. Yeah. Listen, you're onto something interesting here, because we tend to think of, we always do this, when we take a step back and somebody's amassed a certain number. It could be 5 Super Bowl titles, 7 Super Bowl titles, 3, 4, whatever it might be in the sport of football. But you do this in basketball as well and others. You always look back and you're just like, wow, man, what a dominant run. You just assume it had to have been a level of skill that surpassed all of those around him in such a significant way that they could will it to happen. And we discount the amount of good breaks and lucky moments where an opponent messes up. You talk about a missed throw. If that throw's made, we're not having the same conversation right now about the Chiefs. We would acknowledge that they were great. We would acknowledge they have a lot of good players and a great quarterback and a very good coach, but that would have been a 49ers win. That would, but instead it wasn't.
And by the slimmest of margins, they could have 2 in the last 4 or 5 years.
Sure.
And Troy Knowles like, yeah, thanks. But I mean, that's what it comes down to most often.
Well, even those Patriots, that run, how many close games? You documented the one. Carolina, that game.
That's a vintage kick.
Yeah, that's the kick, right?
So ×2 defensive touchdown on the first one that was critical against the Rams.
Well, the crazy pick against the Seahawks.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's the dumbest thing in the world. Why are you throwing there? You've got Marshawn Lynch.
You've got the 28-3 Welker catch. Now, it did kind of even out for them because of the Tyree catch and then also the Manningham one and the 2 Giants Super Bowls. So the fact that they're always there almost to me is more impressive than the fact that they've won so many by slim margins.
Which is why Bills fans get so frustrated. They went to 4 straight. They could have caught a break. Now, listen, here's the thing, though.
Norwood.
The Norwood thing killed them because they were outclassed in the other 3. I mean, they got their ass beat. But that would have been the one. And if you have that one while going to 4 straight, it legitimizes the whole thing in a way that obviously they're still thought of in high regard because nobody's gone to 4 straight. But good God, man.
Well, I mean, and that's why when these great teams do have a dominant final or a dominant final round, if it's an individual, I don't think the Sonic series was very close for Chicago, was it?
4-2.
And wasn't the Lakers series in 5?
Oh,
I mean, it's occurred 3, but that was in 5 that they won that.
It was a lopsided. Yeah.
Tiger at Pebble, Tiger at Augusta.
Oh, running away with it. Sure. Yeah.
So there are different layers, but oftentimes when you amass that many, it's not as dominant as your brain automatically thinks it is because they always win. It was in doubt, oftentimes very much in doubt until the final moment.
Well, and I would say, I would make this argument where this is where the NFL, obviously gets, because the games are so close, any call that goes the way of the Chiefs or any dynastic team, you remember it because the margin for error is so slim when trying to beat a great team. If they get a call, you're like, you get really, really angry and you remember it. You hold on to it. You're not going to remember the call you got in the second quarter. You're going to remember that call. And I understand that. And that's we all tend to do. You're like, really? I tend to remember like a lucky break where a ball bounces left off of a shelf where it could have easily gone into the sand and instead spins to within a foot of the hole. He was off the green. He was going in the water.
Yeah, right.
But that ball went right because, of course, it went right. It was like when Nebraska won the 3 times in the 90s, and there were games. We had the 5th down. We have the ball off the foot that is caught off the foot, and it's caught in the end zone for a win. And you're like, only Nebraska gets this break. Well, it's not true, but that's the way you're made to feel.
Right. They were just coming off of they never get that break, and now they always do.
Now, always.
Yeah.
Well, the point is that they're always in it.
The year that Tiger, I think it was 2005, it's the chip on 16 against DeMarco. Tiger has no business winning that major.
No.
He's got no business. It's DeMarco's major.
Yeah, DeMarco did everything right.
Now,
I'm not a fan of Chris DeMarco, so it makes me laugh.
Funny. Yeah. He had no business winning that. But, of course, he did. And now it becomes reflex. Well, of course he did. No, man, you got to watch it. You got to live through that and appreciate how sometimes in the slimmest of margins, for whatever reason, and it's not always skill, to your point, it's not always skill. It could be the bounce of a ball.
But May is still pissed.
Yeah.
My man did everything right.
Rocco Mediate, Yeah.
Bob May, poor Bob May. I mean, Bob May, what are we doing out here, Bob May? Bob, you're going to win. No, you're not.
No.
Son of a bitch. He made a 25-footer.
And that wild drive to the left somehow found a perfect lie because, of course, it
But
did.
you know what happened? This is why I keep bringing this up, though. If you just put yourself to be in a position to take advantage of breaks.
Yes, that's it.
And, like, the other thing is you do have to catch those breaks in. So, you've seen guys who get that second life, and you're like, oh, well, now they are going to cash that in.
Oftentimes, you see the flaws in the person before that moment. You know, they have failed to not be ahead in the moment, but you gave them another chance, and then they go, oh, well, now they play loose and free. But that humanity that you saw, the cracks in the armor, the impenetrable whatever force that they have has been broken. You forget about that moment because the way the result came out. It's just, there's a through line there. And that's why this Chiefs dynasty, it's impressive. There's no doubt about that. And Mahomes is unbelievable, and so is Kelsey. But it has come down consistently to the slimmest of margins.
Well, when you get to the Super Bowl, most of the time you're facing a very good team. You're facing a team that also has stars and a team that has overcome a lot of adversity, a team that has found ways to win.
I feel like the Patriots teams that went 2-2, they beat the Rams, they beat Atlanta, 3-2. They beat Seattle, and then they lose I feel like that collection is actually better than the first one that had the legacy built up of the dynasty because they were a little bit more complete.
Yes.
Excuse me, they went 3-3. They gave up 50 to the Eagles. So they were there 6 more times after winning at the first 3.
Which is insane.
But Brady wasn't Brady for those first 3.
No, and this is what people forget.
That was smoke and mirrors
until
the Philly
Belichick's defense is what it was.
And offensive smoke and mirrors. I mean,
yes.
Troy Brown's your only guy.
Yeah, and they usually had a decent to good running back. But, I mean, the whole thing was there were a lot of check downs, a lot of not asking him to do a whole bunch, just don't make mistakes, and he didn't. And then it was, I've got a dominant defense. I've got Brewski and the boys, and we're going to – Harrison and guys like that, and we're going to light your ass up, and we're going to let you get between the 20s, and you're not going to score in the red zone, and it's going to be a close game, and we're going to have a chance. And you had the best kicker in football. He didn't miss. Vinatieri didn't miss. When he had chances to make kicks, including in a blinding snowstorm, he was going to make kicks.
It feels like if Kansas City is destined to win on Sunday, it's going to be a reverse. The offense made the statement early. It was, how do you defend these guys with Tyreek on the outside and Kelsey and Mahomes?
In the beginning, it was about explosive plays.
This whole year has been about the consistency of that defensive front.
Without question. Chris Jones is a beast.
I mean,
over and over and over again, people can't block him.
And people speak on him, but I feel like they don't enough. Aaron Donald always got enough publicity, I think.
Yeah, well, Aaron was the catalyst for it,
But Chris Jones, I mean, maybe it's because he's sharing the spotlight with an all-time quarterback and some of these offensive weapons over the years, but he has been as valuable as almost anybody.
The weirdest thing about Chris Jones is that he is frequently somewhat average to slightly above average in the regular season. If you are just to take a look at the numbers, he doesn't transcend or change games or take over games until the postseason. And then there's a switch. And when you're a veteran player and you have to reserve a little something, and it's now a 17-game season, these guys will know, okay, this is an important one. Like this is a division rival and we're within a game. This is to make sure that we can have a buffer down the stretch. I'm going to show out today. 4 sacks, 9 tackles, disrupt the game. The following week, I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
It may not be a dominant performance. I may have to take a series or 2 off here and hope for somebody else to step up. But once the postseason comes around, it's every play. It's like we're playing for keeps.
And yet all of that leads to winning by 3. Last possession of the game and overtime game. All of these things conspired to win by the slimmest of margins. Our second cup with Tampa, we blow away Montreal in the final. Okay, that is wonderful and should be celebrated. We had to beat the Islanders 1-0 in Game 7.
Yes, and I remember it really well. Nervously watching that whole game.
You scored 1 goal in Game 7, but it was enough.
It's like when Chicago went on their run in the NHL where they won the 3 and 5 years or whatever it was. And how many, the game against Nashville, there was all these.
There's one against Boston.
Well, there's a goal with 1 second to play.
Boston's about to force a game 7. And then Chicago scores 2 in the final 2 minutes. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, it's the craziest of endings. And you go, well, see, there you go. You blew it. You had your little window. Don't screw that up. The bottom line is don't screw that up. Bury them when you get a chance, because if they get second opportunities, the dynastic runs, they come through. And that speaks to their greatness and the opportunity they put themselves in, but you can't screw it up. The margins are razor thin.
Inherently, there's fallibility there that we don't talk about because we just glorify the result. So, yeah.
Pitch a Penny Pools and Spas. Everything you need for pool maintenance, chemicals, cleaners, pumps, vacuums, nets, covers. They got it. Already have the largest selection of premium hot springs, hot tubs in the entire city, which you can easily finance, by the way. If you have an older hot tub, you've been waiting to put that thing out to pasture, they'll come and get it. It just doesn't have to sit there looking all dilapidated. They'll haul it away, put money towards your new one. You're all set. It's beautiful. They make it easy, folks. Go check them out today. Have an amazing hot tub is not out of reach at all. Go see them on Greer Road. Find out for yourself how easy it is. Pitch a Penny Pools and Spas. If you're ready to relax, they're ready to show you how.
Hey, fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
Give your business a facelift with a modern, consistent, creative brand overhaul from Curiosity Marketing Group. These days, it's not enough for your business just to have a standard website or a Google listing to reach your customers. Your business needs to stand out with eye-popping branding, modern web development, and strong marketing. And it takes a team to pull it all together. Words and websites matter. At Curiosity, we make the most of yours. Find out more at curiositymg.com.
I used to fight almost on a daily basis working on my business website. I'm a pretty smart guy, but I could never get it to function the way I needed it to, and I was losing customers because of it. That's when I called Curiosity Marketing. They listened, they understood, we collaborated, and in the end, they delivered beyond my highest expectations. Now, I can barely keep up with the work. They say the future belongs to the curious, and now I'm excited about the future of my business.
Find out more at curiositymg.com.
Ain't nothing but a G-pop, baby. I am 99% sure that is not how the lyrics go. Well, you like remixes, right? Of course. Well, think of this as a Grassroots Coffee remix per se, because Grassroots Coffee is now in the single-serve coffee pod game.
Dude, those single-serve coffee pods and cups are weak sauce.
Not Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. They have more coffee in them than regular single-serve pods and cups.
Seriously?
And not only do they have more coffee, they have a built-in filter for better brewing. They fit in most Keurig machines, and they are fully compostable.
It's still the small batch, slow roasted coffee you love, so go to grassrootscoffee.com and get your box of G-Pods today.
Baby.
See? Remix.
Well, actually, that's more of an homage.
Grassroots Coffee, locally owned, locally roasted, and made for everyone, loved everywhere.
Grassroots Coffee G-Pods. So very good.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Rolling on, we'll get to hear from my mom here in just a few minutes. By the way, they are tearing it up at the Phoenix Open. This is insane. Tom, we got -7s, -6s, -7s, another -6, a -5, and a -5, and a -5, all from these early out there on the course guys so far today. We got a 64 in the clubhouse already on the afternoon. They're all firing at the pins right now. This is nuts.
Nary a breeze. That's got to be what that is.
Scotty Scheffler with another good shot. Go figure. Imagine that, Scotty Scheffler. He's 5 under on the day.
Well, he was teetering on the front 9 yesterday, and then he had 2 eagles on the back, including a hole out from the fairway bunker.
A whole lot of teetering for a lot of guys yesterday. Sahith Theegala was 4 over as he entered the round today. He is currently now at 4 under on the day, so meaning he's at 4 under. So there's throwing it on the table. All right, Mama smoked me this year, and by virtue of being the reigning champion, she gets to pick right up until the very end and celebrate each time. If you would, cue it up, sir.
And now for another edition of the Family Pick. Nick. Take it away, Jeffrey.
Hello, Mama. How the heck are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? I was worried about you. I haven't heard from you in a while, and I thought you were maybe sick or something.
I have been sick. That's correct. Yes. Yeah.
But you sound better today.
I do sound better today. I've been taking care of myself. A whole lot of water drinking and a whole bunch of early to bed and sleeping. So that's what we've been doing.
Okay. All right. Well, I know I checked in on you because I told you a couple of times. And so anyway, as long as you knew I was thinking about you.
Yeah. No, you know how I hate being sick, and, I just I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anybody.
I know. Wasn't it bad? You just have a bad cold?
Just a head cold, yeah. That's the thing. Thing about head colds when you're a talk show host is you're doomed.
Yes, it's pretty bad when you don't want to talk. When you're a talk show host.
Yeah, so that's the problem. I mean, you're doomed in the moment. So I just told everybody, Mom, before you came on, that I really didn't have any idea who you were going to root for in this game, because let me lay it out here for everybody. My mom hates the Eagles, and that's born from the rivalry that the Bucs had with the Eagles during our first Super Bowl run. We could never get past Philadelphia up there, if you remember.
Terrible.
And we would lose up there, and they would always tell us about the cold and all the nonsense and the reasons we couldn't win. I remember they broke Brad Johnson's rib one year, and all that stuff that we couldn't get overcome. And then we did, and then we shut down the vet. Yeah.
And that game when we beat Philadelphia to go to the Super Bowl, I swear I almost love that more than the Super Bowl, because when we beat them and they intercepted that ball at the end, was it Rondé Barber that intercepted that and ran it back? I'm going to tell you, that's like one of the greatest plays in Bucs history.
Well, it's a great one because it's a walk-in touchdown, and it took like 40 seconds for it to unfold. It was glorious, and you also knew it was over.
I watch it over and over. Oh, my gosh. Even though we've won again since then. But you're right. This Super Bowl is it's very, I don't know what to say about it, because I don't like Philadelphia. I know it's a totally different team and all of that. But
here's what I was going to say. You do like Jalen Hurts.
I do.
For a lot of reasons. He seems like a really quality individual, good guy, hard worker, all those things. He's overcome quite a bit, after getting benched at Alabama and, all that stuff. And he also transferred to Oklahoma, and we both love OU, so we were happy to see that. And, he played great the last time he was in the Super Bowl. He deserved to win as well as he played. So there's that. And then we're also both, like the rest of the country just about, really effing tired of the Chiefs.
I know. That's the thing. See, when teams win a lot, unless it's your team,
yeah,
you get tired of it. And I wanted Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl. I wanted Andy Reid to win and everything. And so they've done that now, and I am tired of them. And so I really do not want them to win again. But there again, I'm not an Eagles fan. And as far as thinking who will win, I do kind of think the Chiefs will win, because I think they have a chance to make history that's never been made. And it seems like when push comes to shove, they always come through.
Unless they're playing the Bucs, then they get their ass beat 31-9.
I know. Well, that was glorious too. Absolutely. I know. I bring that up to people. Team to beat them in a Super Bowl. I do. But anyway, after all of this, I don't know who to pick. I'm going to pick Philadelphia because that's who I want to win, even though I don't like them. I don't want Kansas City to win again. I don't want to hear them gloating about the 3-peat and it's never been done and da-da-da-da. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I picked the Eagles to win at the start of the week, and I think the Eagles are going to win.
Oh,
but it doesn't mean anything. I mean, I lost to you, so it doesn't matter. I mean,
I know, but it makes me feel a little more confident. Well, another thing too is I think the Eagles, obviously they lost to them the last time they were in the Super Bowl, and I think they're I'm sure that's been talked about a lot over this last couple of weeks before the big game.
I'm sure, but we forget that. Look, at the end of the day, the Eagles are 14-3. They don't suck. They're 14-3. Of course, one of their losses are to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where they got housed 33-16. But the point would be, they're a really good football team. They've been really good all year long. Down the stretch, they were really good, and they won 4 straight down the stretch. And of course, not only that, they played really well in their last matchup there in the playoff. I just feel like they're getting healthier at the right time. I think their defense is outstanding. It'll probably be a fourth quarter game. I love that we're watching a Super Bowl, regardless of who you're rooting for. Most people, if it's not their team in the game, there's 2 things they're paying attention to: whatever bets they made in prop bets, and the fact that they want it to be a close game. We just want it to be good. It's a 1-point spread. It's a 1.5-point spread. The last time these 2 teams played in the Super Bowl, it was one of the best Super Bowls ever played. If we get anything close to that, it'll be riveting.
It will be. And, this time they do have Saquon. And I think that's a little ace in the hole, too, because they didn't have him last time.
They did not, and Saquon doesn't suck.
and he's really motivated, and I'm telling you, you can cover him. And it doesn't matter. He just runs around you or through you or over you or whatever. It's kind of amazing. And then if they do that and they cover him, then Jalen will take off and run.
I agree. And it's, you key is the word you want to use, key on him, because he's a running back. So, I mean, it's a situation where their mentality, they don't care what you are defensively. They're going to try to run the football no matter what. I mean, even though they nearly coughed it up against the Rams, they still ran for 205 yards with just Saquon alone, not counting Jalen Hurts' rushing yards. And that is a Rams defense that was certainly better against the run than was Washington. And so, I tend to think they can run against almost anybody. Let's cross our fingers, Mom. We're on the same side here.
I know. I really do. Like I said, this will probably be the only time in my life that I'll root for Philadelphia. But anyway, we'll see. And I want it to be a good and exciting game. But like you say, when your team's not playing, then, of course, we want it to be a runaway, because I don't want to be nervous for 4 quarters. I just want to be way ahead and say, oh, there you go.
Enjoy the Super Bowl, Mom. It's been fun this year. And I will say one more time, congratulations for whooping my ass and becoming a back-to-back champion.
Thank you, sweetie. It has been great fun. I love this. I enjoy it so much, and it gives us something fun to do and pick these games and everything. And so I have loved it too. And I'm going to relish in my victory again this year, because, like I said, I was shocked it happened again this year, but we'll see. I don't think I'll get this lucky again next year.
I'm going to beat your ass next year.
Yeah. I know, because you're really motivated.
Now I'm motivated. Now I'm like kind of a legitimately. I thought it was cute when you won it a year ago. I was, oh, good for mom. Good for mom. She fell into a few lucky picks. And then this time around, I'm like, man, she didn't just win. She won by 8 or 7 or whatever the hell it ended up being. And I'm like, man, okay, this has got to stop. This has got to stop.
This is my profession.
Oh, that's good. Bye, Mom. Love you.
You have a great weekend. Everybody enjoy the Super Bowl.
All right.
And, I'll see you next year.
Sounds good, Mom. Bye-bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye-bye. There's Mom. I feel like she's gloating a little bit. It's getting a little arrogant. She's a little bit like the Chiefs.
I was going to say, I wonder where you got it from when you celebrate your own victories. Now,
Yeah.
I think I might have a bit of a window into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to celebrate your own victories, and nobody else is going to. You need to celebrate your own
She
victories.
should root for the three-peat because then it sets the tone for her to three-peat.
No, it doesn't. One has nothing to do with the other.
It has everything.
No, it does not. It does not have
These things are
anything
connected.
It has nothing to do with it.
It's all connected, man.
Well, I hope Saquon has a day for the ages. And I hope my bets have a day for the ages. And a third hope that we're within a possession in the fourth quarter, whatever it is. Just give me a game. Give me some. Again, I do this with any two teams that aren't mine. I mean, there are exceptions every now and then. We all have sort of a pseudo second or third team that we kind of like for whatever reason. But even that is malleable. That changes. You know, some of it might be you meet somebody and they're a fan of a team and you really like that person. So the default is, I hope their team does well. You know, and then maybe you move on or whatever. And you're like, I really don't care if their team does well or whatever it could be. It happens. It's never going to be the Eagles for me. But years and years ago, we both liked the Chiefs because they never won anything.
Yeah, I haven't changed all that much. I'm okay with them.
Yeah, they can go to hell.
Stay consistent.
Yeah.
Especially post Tyreek Hill. It makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Well, that is true. It does make it a lot easier. I don't know. Who is your second favorite team? Do you have one in the NFL? I mean, it would be a very distant second. But who is your second favorite team?
That's up for grabs these days.
Is it according to players? Like, would you be kind of pseudo root for the Rams because of Fisk
if
and
they could
Hurst?
tighten up those uniforms, golly, I just cannot with those. I do care, but once you get past your own organization, you know, the Bucks wore the Salvador Dali clock, you know, font numbers, and I hated that, but they're always my team.
Of course.
But if you're going to pick a second team, you have to like the look. You got to like the look of them.
The Rams have the easiest default.
Yeah, they do.
In the world, if they would just go back to it.
And yet they want these two-tone, rubbery, you know, textured numbers. What are you doing, guys? When they took on the Bengals, that was unequivocally the worst uniform Super Bowl in history.
It was criminal.
It was criminal. It looked like an XFL final.
The Bengals uniforms have always been but sorry.
They just need to
but
go.
Sorry.
Yep.
They should be fined.
They are, however, the leader in the clubhouse for Team 2 for me. I do enjoy watching them play.
The Bengals?
Oh,
yeah, because Joe Burrow and Chase, those two are incredible.
Higgins ain't bad either.
Yeah,
and they got
no.
a couple of good backs. And
I'm with you.
But Joe ends up on his back 6 times a game because that O-line still stinks. And he gets up and he makes the throws. I just appreciate them.
The Rams need to go back to that white and blue with the white Ram helmet.
Yeah.
That was
Or even the blue and yellow. They could even make it bright yellow. Just the jerseys. What the hell are we doing?
You know, you got to go all the way back to like 75 when they start to introduce the yellow in with the blue. And they had a stretch where they have blue, yellow, and white. They couldn't figure out what they wanted to be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Here's another one. I get you won a Super Bowl in this uniform, but Philadelphia, come on now. You have the perfect uniform.
You got the Kelly Green.
You have them. It's time. It's like that commercial. No, it's time.
I hated the Rams colors when Marshall Faulk was there. That space agey uniform, that I hated.
Well, everybody fell in love with gold instead of yellow in that period of time. Anybody who was yellow, mustard,
turned into gold.
Pitt just recently reversed that in the last handful of years because they went to navy and gold when they had the mustard and the royal blue. You go navy and gold.
Pitt's uniforms are fantastic.
Outstanding.
Oh, fantastic. I bought a shirt up there, and then Christy told me to get rid of it.
Really?
Well, I was going to buy a shirt. I was holding it in the pit, bookstore.
And you brought it back. It still got the tag on it?
No.
Get rid of it.
I had the baby blue with the mustard yellow, and it just said Pitt, and I don't care anything about Pitt, but I was like, I'm going to buy that shirt because it's gorgeous. And it was that soft, really soft fabric that I love. I was like, oh, man, that looks like a comfortable. I can mow the lawn in that shirt. I can do. And then she was like, what are you doing? You spent $28 on that shirt. You don't even care about Pitt. And I was like, but she's like, you don't care about him. You do not care about him. Fair enough.
That does happen these days now.
Fair enough.
Especially as these prices are out of control, Jeff. Well, you do go to a bookstore or whatever, and you see $36 for a medium T-shirt. I do want a tri-blend, but I don't know if I want it for $36. What the hell is this?
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
2 people are dead and 2 others are injured after a shooting at a mobile gas station along Pat Thomas Parkway Thursday evening, according to a Gadsden County Sheriff's Department spokesperson. Authorities are still on the lookout for the suspect. 2 people were in the store at the time of the shooting. The Gadsden County Sheriff's Office is working the scene with assistance from Florida Highway Patrol, and FDLE is processing the scene. No further information is made available at this time. Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez is expected to resign as early as this week. Sources told the Gray Florida Capitol Bureau that Florida International University's board is expected to name Nunez interim president during a special meeting. It's not clear when Nunez will resign, but this would create another vacancy for Governor Ron DeSantis. He still hasn't formally appointed an attorney general after Ashley Moody was appointed to the U.S. Senate. Governor DeSantis' office declined to comment about when exactly Nunez would resign. This is Rachel Anae with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 78. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 56, with fog in spots tonight. Cloudy skies expected. High of 76 tomorrow. Mainly clear skies with fog in spots early. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 72 degrees.
Take a sip and have a trip with Tallulah's famous THC slushies. Lots of fun flavors to choose from. Refreshingly delicious and the perfect way to relax. Stop by Tallulah's and try the all-new sugar-free Jolly Rancher slushie today and find out why everyone is going mad for honey. A rare, intriguing, deep red honey harvested from the mountains of Nepal. Mad Honey is the latest trend, creating quite the buzz. Literally. Try Mad Honey today, only available at a Tallulah store near you.
There he is. Haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude, I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No, I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Florida, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Do want to point out that 4 former Florida State players will compete for Super Bowl rings on Sunday. 2 players on both teams. Chiefs feature, of course, Derek Nottie, still in the league, still getting time, still out here collecting Super Bowl rings. Good for Derek Nottie. I will add to this, Derek Nottie, one of the really good dudes in the NFL and one of the really good dudes to come through here. I don't know if you've ever read about all that he does for shelter dogs and homeless dogs. He has spent hours of time and money to help the cause of animal abuse and shelter those that are obviously homeless dogs. And it's awesome, Tom. Go read if you pull up Derek Nottie, charity, dogs, all that, it'll come up. It's worth a read. He's been honored many times in that area for all of his work involving that.
I like that. That's cool.
And he was also a guy that was really cool here. And of course, as we all recall, as proclaimed on the Jeff Cameron Show, Nottie to the Knolls. It was one of the first big works from back in the day that I had to put my name to.
Yeah, that was after Eddie. You had a run in D tackles there.
I did. I'm proud of it. I've maintained a nice little run here lately. But anyhow, Derek Nottie has a chance. Fabian Lovett also in this thing with a chance. And you won't see him, but he's on the team.
Oh, what could have been had we, not messed around and had that game be close down the stretch against LSU in 2022. He's making a living, and he's going to get that NFL paycheck and pension, and that's all wonderful. But damn it, man.
Could have been, yeah. I agree with you. Eagles defensive end Josh Sweat, who I've repeatedly pointed out was dragging his leg around when he was here and just trying to make do, and now has had an amazing NFL career, and is a pseudo-celebrity.
And he's in a walk year. I didn't realize that. I saw that from one of the NFL insiders this past week, that he will be one of the prized targets in free agency for edge rushers.
I always liked Josh Sweat, man. Like a nice dude. And you could tell could be a good player, but he was always hurt here. He's just always fighting through it. And Johnny Wilson, of course, is on the Eagles, and Johnny was a great guy here too. So Nottie has the opportunity to earn his 4th Super Bowl ring, while Lovett, Sweat, and Wilson are chasing their first Super Bowl victories. Nottie would join, by the way, with a Kansas City win if it happens. Nottie would join J.T. Thomas, who played on the famed Pittsburgh Steelers steel curtain defense with 4 Super Bowl victories. Entering the weekend, only 37 players in NFL history have played on 4 Super Bowl winning teams. Only 3 college programs have multiple alumni with 4 rings. We could be one. So that's something to behold. I hope he doesn't get it. It's unfortunate.
Oh, no. Yeah. See, now you need to
hope he doesn't get it.
Come to your senses.
Listen, love the guy, but he's got 3 rings, Tom. He's all right. He's going to be okay. He's made $1 gazillion, too.
It's one for the pinky.
Obviously, we remember Nottie here, 2014 through 2017, earned all ACC accolades. Each of his final 3 seasons, advanced to the Super Bowl for the 5th time in 7 years.
Do you think Sirianni would fit it for the pinky? You would kind of have to.
It would be kind of cool.
If you have the Italian flag on the side of your hat, you gotta have to go with the Super Bowl ring on the pinky.
It'd be funny. Sweat is making his 2nd Super Bowl appearance in 3 seasons after also helping the Eagles reach the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. He was selected in the 4th round in the 2018 draft. We remember that, right? And that was, look at this career. He's recorded 252 tackles, 57 tackles for loss, and 45 sacks. He's had a career, man. He has done some damn things. Okay. He was on the Orange Bowl team in 2016 for Florida State, if you recall.
Oh, I never count that game.
What do you mean?
I said we didn't win that game because Peppers wasn't available.
Oh, right. Doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Yeah.
Obviously, Johnny was drafted in the 6th round by the Eagles, and cross your fingers that he wins a ring. He's got a chance at some point to emerge as maybe a real contributor for them.
They got to throw the ball first.
Yeah, they don't throw it a lot. This marks the 13th straight Super Bowl with Florida State representation. 43 out of 59 Super Bowls all time have featured a Florida State player in them. Florida State alumni have collectively made 99 Super Bowl appearances and earned 50 Super Bowl rings. This will be the 9th straight year at least one Knoll was on the winning team, 33rd all-time, 33 all-time. Florida State is one of 8 college football programs with multiple Super Bowl MVPs. Pro Football Hall of Famer Fred Biletnikoff won an MVP in the Super Bowl, had 4 catches for 79 yards in Oakland's 32-14 win over Minnesota. Dexter Jackson, Tom Lang,
you
remember very well.
MV Pizzle.
was the Super Bowl MVP after having 2 picks in Tampa Bay's 48-21 ass whooping over the Oakland Raiders, and that was a glorious moment.
Did that note say that a Florida State player has won a Super Bowl 8-9 straight years? Is that
Florida State?
About 3-4 notes back up from the bottom.
Yeah, let me tell you. We'll give you all of those. This year marks the 13th straight Super Bowl with Florida State representation, 43rd of 59 Super Bowls all time. Florida State alumni have collectively made 99 Super Bowl appearances and earned 50 Super Bowl rings. This will be the 9th straight year that at least one Nole was on a winning team.
Oh, I feel bad. I don't remember who the hell was on the Bucs. Was it a practice squad guy, or am I missing a big starter that I'm just not thinking of on our 2020 team?
The 2020 team?
Yeah, the Brady team. I might have to look that up.
Damn, Tom.
Yeah.
What is wrong with us?
I don't think it was Derek Brooks level of a player.
No, clearly. But who was it?
I'm going to have to look that up.
Was it the corner? The backup, the kid that had the most improbable of all stories?
Javian Elliott?
Was he a practice squad guy on that team?
I mean, he was with us for a while, but he went to Carolina, I thought. I'm going to have to find out who the hell that is.
Why did you do that?
Because I was looking for help. I thought this was a place I could share things.
You can, but now you're gonna sidetrack me in every which way possible. I'm like, wait a minute, he might be right. What's gonna be? Is somebody yelling at us right now? It was so and so. He was a star.
I know.
You're gonna be like,
I forgot Levante David went to Florida State.
He knows that Levante David did not go to Florida State. He knows. He knows. Just I don't want anybody thinking that's funny. Backup offensive lineman.
It's gonna have to be a
backup defensive lineman,
practice squad guy.
But it counts.
Oh, of course it does. I'm not. This is not denigration. All right, here we go. Universities.
He's looking. Thanks for bad radio, but it's Friday. I don't care. Everybody wants to know now. Is it in the chat? Did somebody tell us? I guess Javian Elliott as well.
I don't see one here. I have to challenge that notion. Not that I want to challenge the greatness of Florida State. I'm on profootballreference.com.
And you don't see a Nole that was on that Bucs team.
They do have a list of colleges and universities. And I don't unless there was a guy who transferred out and then he won, but his final college stop was somewhere else and not Florida State, and then he won a Super Bowl with the Bucs.
Could it be somebody who was an administrator?
But quite literally, I'm on Pro Football Reference, and you can sort by college university, and there isn't one.
Hey, I'll distract you. We'll figure this out and put it in the chat. But Garrison Sanborn long snapper? Hey, Beast Mode, are you just effing around or is that real?
No, I'm looking at the roster and I can sort by college or university. There is not a Florida State listing on our
No, we know
Super
Nutty
Bowl
was
roster.
on the losing side.
Yes, we do.
Listen, somebody who's like, no, the Bucs officially had a janitor that went to Florida State. We gave him a ring too. Beast Mode said he's serious. It was. It had to have been Garrison Sanborn. Long snapper.
If he was the backup long snapper, he's not on the official.
Was he on the
list.
practice squad?
He's catching the practice squad. The long snapper was Zach Triner.
Does Gene Deckeroff count?
He should. Although, would he count for Florida?
No, he would count for Florida, yeah.
Yeah.
Garrison Sanborn's mom I met, and I believe I interviewed him at some point because I remember
he was on Buffalo at that time.
Yeah, he was going to. But the reason I remember that is I remember thinking how cool it was that he was, as well thought of a long snapper as long snappers as much as they can be thought of.
It was a good interview. I was around at that time.
It was a good interview.
That was all of 16 years ago, I think, maybe 15 years ago. We were still on the AM dial.
So Beast Mode says, according to FSU.wire, USA Today, looking right at it, it was Garrison Sanborn.
All right, I hear you. I'm looking at Pro Football Reference, and it does not recognize this.
See, this is why
I need to call Pro Football Reference, and
this is why you guys tune into the Jeff Cameron Show. listen to guys try to figure out an answer. They just pause it to the listening audience and search the internet on air. It's riveting.
He was on the practice squad.
There it is.
Yep. So, okay. Ooh. There you go. That counts. He was the practice squad long snapper. That's a busy practice for him.
You know what?
Or not.
He's got a damn ring. How about them apples? He's got a ring.
I need Pro Football Focus to include practice squad guys. Come on now. Let's tighten up.
Get it together, Pro Football Focus.
Or
How
Pro
many
Football
other...
Reference. Pro Football
Yeah.
Reference.
As a Jeff Cameron Show advertiser, you get a free ad board for your business. That's from my boys at Tried and True, killing it. That's right. You have an exclusive offer from me and the Tried and True team. You got to contact them and receive your free ad board. Why wouldn't you do it? You get a 55-inch 4K television. You get installation, 6 months of free ads at all other locations where they have an ad board across Tallahassee. So that's discount advertising. It's free, basically. If you have a TV, you get 1 year of ads for free at all other participating locations with their ad board program. It's crazy. It's what you do. So if you got it, make it happen, and then reach out to Tried and True Consulting. They're about to be here next week. They're going to be doing more work here. This has been a great relationship, a partnership. They're doing a lot of cool things in the community. They're going to be doing some golf stuff with us soon. Tom, when do we want to announce?
That'll be Monday before I take the vacation. We'll announce the date. We have it.
We have the official date for the. Yeah, you got it. You had it.
Backup long snapper. Practice squad long snapper.
Counts, baby.
Yeah, it's.
I bet that ring glitters in the light. Just like
that's an older code, but it checks out, sir.
Anyhow, yeah, we've got the date for the golf tournament. We'll be announcing that next week. Third hour forthcoming. It is new material, but I did do it this morning because of this nasal drip. But it's all brand new, and it's coming up next. Stay tuned.
Every journey starts with a